We've got some of that juicy, decadent global Dokkan Battle discourse coming at you for today, and is the global 9th anniversary underwhelming? I've got my own thoughts and opinions on how this anniversary is shaped up, but I'll save those for a bit to get into this tweet. This was the impetus for this video, if you will. The True Sinner saying, gotta say, in terms of big celebrations, Global's 9th anniversary is very easily the most embarrassing one. Every issue with it was caused by their incompetence. And those are really high claims. You could say they're hyperbolic. I mean, who would disagree with you, right? The 9th anniversary is considered on JP to be the best ever by a lot of people. So to hear that it is the most disappointing here on Global, what could that mean? Here we've got a continuation. True says, what? This event is a movie boss skill orb event instead of a super boss event like it was on JP. Part 2 banners not having the same steps as part 1 is dumb. It'd be okay if 9th anniversary weren't DFE X Carnival, but because it is, it doesn't cater to all players equally. I will say, equip boards are pretty important here and there. You know, you'll really feel when you don't have them. But this wasn't the biggest deal to me. Maybe that's blasphemy. I'm not, you know, I'm Mr. Dokkan needs things to grind, but because these are so randomly accessible and a lot of the best ones that are consistently accessible we get from events and such, it's just like, I don't know. It's definitely not nothing, but the most disappointing anniversary ever because of it, Here we have Minato weighing in. The Global 9th anniversary is literally just an upgraded version of the JP 9th anniversary, and that's considered to be Dokkan's best celebration ever. I'm confused by this statement. True Sinner responds, I only say this because this exists and because of the step-up situation. Half of the DFEs and carnivals are on banners with objectively inferior formats. Should have just been the DFE banners with the step-ups or the carnivals with them. Going a bit deeper into this thread, to be honest, not really. We literally had a week of almost nothing, and part 2 doesn't have the format that part 1 had, which is understandably frustrating. Minato's Flash was the same time frame on JP. There's always a few days of dryness after the banners come, unfortunately. Part 2 was never stated to have the format, but I do understand the frustration. It still doesn't take away from what I said on how it's JP's anniversary, but better. And to sort of wrap up the bit here, so the delays were fine. There's a pretty big lack of content in part 1, and now the Beast and Gamma banners are back to the old format. They kind of blue-balled us with that, but at least the part 1 banner discounts were goated. Minato says, Broly Trio EZA came out a day later compared to the banner drop between Global and JP. The old format could still have one step of discounts and even potentially have tickets for summoning. And the big takeaway here is that it has not been an issue of dryness in totality, but rather the pacing is sort of bad. I bring up Hawkeye Star Rail a lot, I bring up Zenless on Zero a lot, and the reason those games seem to fill out their content schedules a bit better is that because I play Dokkan, and when something happens in Dokkan, it happens on a day, and then nothing happens for that week. It's always whatever the thing is that drops that week for that day is everything since I've been playing, and then there's nothing for that week. Let's put this in whale terms. Let's say you're a whale. Let's say you're a whale in Dokkan and you love Dokkan, and spending however much money every single time a banner comes out is the most fun thing to you. Because the system with which Dokkan exists is very low grind, it's specifically so long as you have the characters leveled up, which takes no time. Once you have your account for a while, you don't spend time grinding any level up materials. You don't need them. Your Zenny is useless. The most you might spend grinding in Dokkan are medals when a new Dokkan Fest comes out and you need to farm the new event. So what does the actual grind become? And that's link leveling. And link leveling is the ultimate grind in that there genuinely is nothing to look at. You can set your phone to link level and just repeat until at some point when you decide that you need more stamina, you can check to make sure if the links are level 10 yet. And if they're not, you just repeat. And it's not even a good repeat because you need to constantly be checking it, unlike other games like Epic 7, which just have a repeat the stage button. And even though I do this sometimes, you know, I do my link levels. You know, I've got a power level, I think 1.4 million in a year, and I'm not a whale. That said, link leveling is just not content, and it's not really a grind even. It's just monotony. And going back to the original point, I don't use items when I clear stages typically. If I do, it's just to get the stage done, and then I go back and I no item it as well. And the only reason I do no items is because even as someone who does not whale, even as someone who does not have every character rainbowed, if you don't set these stipulations, you're going to clear the stage and then you're going to put the game down. And you're going to have to put the game down for a week. Which means that if you're a whale, like my original point was, you might spend $3,000 on a game you don't play every 1.5 months so that you cannot play it. Isn't that crazy? So, you know, that was my opinion that I was talking about earlier, is that I don't know if the Dokkan 9th anniversary is the most disappointing ever, any hyperbolic term, but it is paced poorly currently, and it's not really because 1 or 2 EZAs were delayed so much as if these content blips need to be dropped throughout the week in general. I'm going to continue to make this point. I think Dokkan just makes too much money for the way it schedules and releases its content. The only content really worth doing ends up being challenge content, and if they're not going to release super specific missions regularly, and they're not going to release the fights super regularly, I mean, they have on JP, right? I mean, JP has everything. It does leave you sort of sitting here going, well, you can't really complain when people blitz the content and then complain about there being no content, because this is the biggest celebration of the year. This is the 9th anniversary. This is the best anniversary ever. And if people are bored during it, isn't that testament to a problem that is deeply rooted in the game itself? Not to say that there aren't people who are just simply burned out, but 2 things can be true. And here we have the truth saying, reminder that the 9th anniversary is the best celebration of all time without there even being a number 2 best celebration. And I will say that when I was watching people play the 9th anniversary, when I was playing it myself on my phone that I had switched to Japanese so that I could play it with Japan at the same time, it was extremely exciting. But everything is contextual, so to say that the experience that 7 to 6 months ago Japan got, or Japan players got, is the same as the global experience is fundamentally different. These are 2 events that are happening under different pretenses. You have to remember, these events that gave you a ton of content, things like the difficulty of the artificial life form missions, which we haven't gotten yet, but will be coming soon. They're going to be so fundamentally changed by the fact that Global has had 6 months of not only our releases, but shared releases sprinkled in that are going to invalidate these missions. It sucks to say, but if there's one thing I want out of Dokkan in 2025, I want them to remove the cap on attempting events, and I want them to just make them so much harder. I want them to kill us. I want to go back to 2023 power of bosses, but with our current strength of units, where the bosses can just fucking murder you on turn 1, but I can just go back in there. Right now I'm going through the 9th anniversary, and when it was the best anniversary ever on JP, I'm just dominating. I'm dog walking these missions with Saiyan Day units, you know what I mean? Like Golden Week units. I'm not really thinking about the 9th anniversary units anymore. Until Beast Gohan gets here, and I think this is another reason people feel so disappointed by the 9th anniversary here on Global, is we've had 7 months of watching people play with Beast Gohan. And so Beast Gohan looks like the real headliner of the anniversary. People haven't even gotten to use the unit that is the de facto best unit in the anniversary yet. But all the same, I'll just end this off with my own thoughts on the anniversary and how I've been enjoying it so far. You can see I'm doing the probably one of the hardest fights on Global, maybe the second hardest behind the Kid Buu fight. Definitely the second hardest behind the Kid Buu fight, actually. And it's fun, man. I'm using double Vegito here with a Gogeta and Future Vegeta shell. And I've got some support, and I've got Kefla running around, and I just brought Broly because I was just going to float him strong. I just wanted to do a fight with some of the swaggiest animations in the game for us here on Global, and without using the Majin Buu Saga EZAs or releases, because you've seen enough of those when I do these talking head videos. I'm still really looking forward to the content that's coming out. The Gogeta fight is probably still the best designed fight in all of Dokkan. It definitely looks like the most fun for these last 6 months. It's going to be a really shame when that fight gets basically power crept the hell out by Worldwide Download Celebrations fight, but it is what it is. If you made it this far in the video, if you liked it, if you enjoyed this, if you have any thoughts on the disappointment, quote unquote, of the global 9th anniversary, tell me about them. Leave in the comments. I'll read through them. If any interesting discussion comes of it, I'll make like a hot takes video and I'll respond to anything left in there. But for now, that's me, man. Like, global 9th anniversary, still a ton of fun, still having a great time. Can't wait for it to end. I think I guess adding another point onto this video. I guess another big thing is that we've seen everything and we know the sync is coming in a month. We know it is happening in a month. We know Worldwide Download Celebration is happening in like a month and then some change. The anniversary seems as unimportant as it ever has this year for Global because so much is coming. Like, imagine we're sitting on anniversary, which we've known about for 6 months, and like GT biggest celebration ever, LR Super Baby, and Fusing Gogeta comes up in like a month and a half, you know what I mean, with like synced units and synced schedule and events and all this. Like, I don't know, it makes the anniversary seem very small, especially because we've been so overexposed to it. But that's been me. Subscribe to join the club. I've been Lone. Peace.